Hello, my name is Corey Dury, and this is midterm for Ethnic 10. So basically, this midterm is going to be me explaining my experience with the service report, and I'm also going to be talking about some different philosophical things between Eurocentrism and Afrocentrism. So basically, my presentation that I had provided to my friend named Vinay, he reacted in a very positive way. He was very receptive to the ideas. Specifically, I presented shattered consciousness to him and some of the ideas put forth regarding the African mind by Wade Nobles. And he was very receptive to these ideas. He very much enjoyed my presentation. He said that I explained the ideas very clearly to him, especially those regarding conceptual incarceration and shattered consciousness and derailment. And he said that he himself has noticed these kind of subliminal messaging of exclusionary type principles within Eurocentrism. So he said himself that he has witnessed these sort of things, but was never really able to articulate them. So that was his general reaction, was kind of gratitude as well as enjoyment with the intellectual simulation. I, again, just mentioned that I presented shattered consciousness to him. And I believe that in terms of how these types of ideas can be presented to the community, I believe that types of clubs that could be formed on campus regarding political theory, political philosophy, which is just an example. Let's say on campus, a club regarding specifically political theory could be developed from an Afrocentric framework. So this would be with regard to principles of like spirit and matter distinctions and unifications, kind of teaching these types of principles within the political theory context within a club. And within this club, let's say that I were to be the president of this club, then I would make it a requirement of the club to do types of community service projects, for example, going into homeless shelters as well as elementary schools and doing presentations representing Sac State and kind of propagating and perpetuating the ideas of Afrocentrism and introducing these ideas into the mainstream of our city, kind of a jumping off point for further service. But that would be how I would introduce it to the service, these types of ideas into the general community. And that would be Afrocentric ideals within the Africana Studies program to the general community. As far as the difference between Afrocentricity and Eurocentricity, I'm going to talk about a few different concepts that are kind of distinctions between Afrocentricity and Eurocentricity. And these are not my own ideas, but I will provide my own interpretations. So the spirit and matter argument is this idea within Afrocentricity put forth by Linda James Myers regarding the unification and the deep relationship between spirit and matter. And she uses the ideas of quantum physics in that a lot of the particles that actually make up other particles have to be imagined in a way. So consciousness puts forth this matter existence. So this is the spirit matter distinction that is present in Eurocentricity, but is appreciated as unification in Afrocentricity. Furthermore, a division of spirit matter, in my opinion, can lead to a lot of issues as well as separations more holistically, for example, in political spheres, institutions, things like this. And again, I give Linda James Myers credit for these ideas, as well as a few of those regarding the distinction and division were my own based off of those ideas. Exclusion versus inclusion is this division and another distinction between Afrocentricity and Eurocentricity, in which in Afrocentricity, we want as Afrocentric scholars to be very inclusive of all backgrounds and all associations and ethnic appreciations. This is exemplified especially in Wade Nobles' description of Black psychology's interpretation and application of Afrocentric ideals, in that in Black psychology, we're going to be appreciative of all ethnic backgrounds as well as a case-by-case basis, rather than an application of preformed theories, for example, in the DSM, which is something that Wade Nobles has talked about himself to our class. So inclusion is very important within Afrocentric studies. Exclusion, therefore, is not a polarity, but a kind of different approach within Eurocentrism, in which, for example, in Eurocentrism, which is promulgated within a lot of history classrooms in America, any types of examples of cultures that are not white, for example, or not representative of the Eurocentric standard are kind of seen as other. So that is an issue of exclusion within Eurocentrism, in which even concepts like Afrocentrism, which is different than Eurocentrism, is not even talked about in those kinds of books that talk about Eurocentrism or the Eurocentric perspective. So it's very exclusionary in that regard. My own contribution to this material is that a sort of mission, I feel, that is inherent and present within Afrocentrism is this idea of conceptual liberation. So conceptual liberation would be basically the only answer to this world that is completely conceptually incarcerated within Eurocentric hegemonic thought. So this thought has completely pervaded all aspects of our life and society. In America, for example, materialism, extreme division in political spheres. So I feel that a liberation of the mind in which we can see that there are other worldviews available to us, for example, Afrocentrism, for example, future types of worldviews as well that can be built off of Afrocentrism. I feel that liberation of the mind out of this conceptual incarceration, such as described by Wade Nobles, that we find ourselves in, especially as Americans in this world that are sort of enslaved by this Eurocentric framework, conceptual liberation as a mission within Afrocentrism is something that I feel is very inherently deep and intrinsic to this conceptual system that we define as Afrocentrism. I might have said the word Afrocentrism in this video about 25 times, but it is very, very interesting to me because it's unique, it's cool, and I had a great time showing my friend ideas of Afrocentrism within Shattered Consciousness. He reacted very well, as I said, and I do feel that certain clubs of philosophy, for example, political theory, that are based on this framework of Afrocentrism in which all people of all different backgrounds could be accepted, as well as different political views are encouraged to discuss political ideas, as well as discuss how to form and create institutions at the student level that could be brought out into the community, for example, in homeless shelters and talks at elementary schools. And again, those distinctions I found between Afrocentrism and Eurocentrism are not my own. There are some interpretations of my own there, but a lot of the ideas regarding spirit and matter were from Linda James Myers, and a lot of the ideas regarding conceptual incarceration and subsequent liberation are given by Wade Nobles. So thank you for your time. I'm very sorry that this video probably went over 10 minutes, but thank you for your time and thank you for your viewing of this video. Thank you. Bye.